Take a seat.
Hi, Kanye.
What's up?
How are you doing?
I'm good, chilling.
How are you liking Singapore so far?
It's good. I haven't got a chance to leave the hotel, but hotel's nice.
Well, we hope you're having a comfortable stay. Before we get to the questions, we're gonna let you guys watch Kanye's video for his first single, Love Lockdown.
I'm not loving you way I wanted to, what I had to do, had to run from you. I'm in love with you, but the vibe is wrong, and it haunted me all the way home. So you never know, never know enough till it's over, love, till we lose control. Sister, screaming no, 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 no. I'm not loving you way I wanted to. See, I wanna move, but can't escape from you. So I keep it low, keep a secret code, so everybody else don't have to know. So keep your love locked down, your love locked down, keeping your love locked down, your love locked down. Now keep your love locked down, your love locked down. Now keep your love locked down. You lose. I'm not loving you way I wanted to. I can't keep my cool, so I keep it true. I got something to lose, so I gotta move. I can't keep myself and still keep you too. So I keep in mind when I'm on my own, somewhere far from home, in the danger zone. How many times did I tell you before it finally got through? You lose, you lose. I'm not loving you way I wanted to. See, I had to go, see, I had to move. No more wasting time, you can't wait for life. We're just racing time, where's the finish line? So keep your love locked down, your love locked down, keeping your love locked down, your love locked down. Now keep your love locked down, your love locked down. Now keep your love locked down. You lose. I'm not loving you way I wanted to. I bet no one knew, I got no one new. No, I said I'm through, but got love for you. But I'm not loving you way I wanted to. Gotta keep it going, keep the loving going, keep it on a roll. Only God knows if I'll be with you. Baby, I'm confused. You choose, you choose. I'm not loving you way I wanted to, where I wanna go. I don't need you. I've been down this road too many times.
friend of mine, Simon Henwood, who also I've been working with him for like over a year. He helped me on the original Glow in the Dark tour that we did in Europe this time last year.
Cool. Did you come up with the concept for the video, or worked with it?
Well, we both were thinking tribal because it fit with the drums and stuff. But at first, it was supposed to be out in the forest, out in the mountains or something like that. And I wanted to juxtapose it with the really clean, modern sound that the album had, and that's the reason why we used The Apartment from American Psycho, and then figure out a way to mix it with the tribal stuff to have that tension, to have those two different worlds at the same time. I'm kind of disappointed though every time I look at it because the coloring isn't really right. It's a little bit dull, and it's supposed to be brighter and like more vivid. Even when the actual stuff that's bright color comes in, it's just like everything was good except for the colorist, and then we had to like rush it to iTunes and stuff like that. It was just like I wish the coloring could have been better.
Are you gonna redo it, recolor it, get another colorist?
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah.
Would you guys like to ask any questions? Yes, Yi.
A lot of musicians, right, at this point in time, like to do clothes and perfumes and branch out into other things. What's your opinion on that, and do you see yourself taking that direction?
Well, I've been working on clothing like very heavily for the past 4 or 5 years, and it's hard because you like really need to know what you're doing. You know, in order for me to put out something that I would actually wear, it's a big statement because I only wear the best of other people's clothes, and these are people who've designed for like 10, 15 years, and I might only still get a couple pieces from them. So to be able to build a team of designers that can design something on the level that it needs to be, it's a difficult thing. I mean, it's really like I spend more time focusing on that than I spend on music at this point. And I'm actually going to just take a little bit of time off just to completely go into that because I wanted to be a designer like since like 4th grade, and I went to art school and stuff, and I dropped out of art school to try to do music. So it's like clothing is definitely a passion of mine, and I feel like it's a catch-22 being a celebrity because people think I'm just going to do like some type of cheap line or some overly expensive line or just something that just doesn't make sense. I want to make something that inspires other designers, and paints the world the same way that my music painted the world. So many people, they do one thing really good, and they half-ass everything else they do, and that's not what that's one of the reasons why I'm successful as an artist, because they thought, I produce really well and then half-ass being an artist and I really care about it. I'm like, no, I really do care about it. And it's like videos, I really do care about it. Shows, I really do. Anything that I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do the best at it, and I'm not going to release it until I think it's proper. So.
Yes.
Would you say that your latest album is like an emotional reflection of the past year? That's what's happened to you, and is this a sign of softening up?
Is it a sign of what?
Softening up. Softening.
Softening. Are you getting softer?
Softer as far as what? Like in the rap sense of soft?
And are you showing a softer side of Kanye West?
I think that it's the harder side. I think that it's easier to dress it exactly like everybody else and walk exactly like everybody else and say everything that everybody else said. Like when I looked at the Love Like Down video, his camera is loud. I thought the hardest thing in the video was when I scrunched up on the couch. I was like, man, that's like some real emotional, hard stuff to do in front of the entire world and stuff like that. It's way easier to go like this, scrunch your face up, and then act hard. But it's harder to like actually express real life and things that you really go through. And like, man, wow, I'm like a real person that really feels pain and emotion. But I feel, privileged that I'm able to get my emotion out through art with all like the devastation that I deal with. So.
Hey Kanye.
What's up?
What do you know about Singapore, and what can fans expect from the show tonight?
Well, I don't know much, but when I'm finally allowed to leave the hotel, then I will find out. And I mean, from the show tonight, I mean, it's gonna be a great show. I'm sure you heard, like, I give a lot of energy on stage, and I follow all the rules that Kweli taught me a long time ago. Like, I remember I used to have tracks that had my raps on them. He was like, no, never do that. You have to say the raps yourself. And I went from saying the raps myself with a hype man to, like, not having a hype man at all, to performing, an hour and a half with absolutely no hype man. Like, saying raps, raps, singing, jumping around, running around. It's like really it's a hard feat to pull off, for people who especially only work in the studio to get to the point where you can, like, really perform. So for me, it's like this is the beginning stages of me becoming, like, one of the, the greater performers of this generation. I've toured with U2, and I went out on stage, and right before I went out, he said, nobody from your community has ever figured this out. And he's talking about, like, 10, 20, 30 years later, being able to still rock arenas and stadiums. And rap is so, for the most part, it's just so, like, a lot of rap music is really throwaway, like it was only hot that year. And I try to make records, whether it has rap or not in it, that lasts. And now I'll do a song like Through the Wire or Jesus Walks, and it'll get just as much response as the newer songs, because now they've been embedded in people's, like, hearts and spirit and mind, and they've been in their homes and played so many times. And that's why whenever bands come out and they say, this album is better than the Beatles, it is impossible to make an album better than the Beatles unless you got, like, 30 years. It's like saying, I'm your new best friend. Like, your best friends are going to be people you've known your whole life. So, like, Beatles records, people have known them their whole life. So it's impossible to do, like, a song and be like, oh, man, you're just going to love this more than the old songs. It's just, hopefully 5 years from now, people still play Love Lockdown. People still play the records that I'm doing right now. So every time I perform, I'm more staking that I will be one of the, and this is just a straightforward statement that my plan is to be the greatest performer of this generation. When you look back, like, who was the greatest performer of this generation? It was Kanye. So.
Take a seat.